I don't remember the year, but Evelyn was, well, I think that I dropped them off at the movie theater in Vashon, and I was going to pick them up later. Mom sent me to pick them up later, and I don't know, I couldn't find them at the movie theater. I guess they had started walking, and I saw a couple of girls walking along, and I tried to get their attention, and I guess I scared them. They ran away and ran off into the field or something. So I don't know how long I spent wandering around trying to find them, driving around different roads. Finally, I just decided to go home, and they were there, and I guess the police were there too. And they didn't know that it was me that was looking for them. They thought that they were being stalked by someone. Anyway, when I got home, I was surprised to see them there, and the police. And everything turned out okay. Just a mistaken situation is all. That's it. Okay. Evelyn was number 7. I always say we went by numbers until we got to be 6 years old, and we got a name and a pair of shoes, and we're shoved out the door to go to school. Anyway, there were 6 boys, and then finally a girl, and the guys at the shop where Dad worked said, "Hey, Raleigh, I bet you're proud of your new daughter." "Yep, I am." "Is she nice looking as the rest of your kids?" "Doggone, I don't know. I haven't looked at her face yet." Dad could always come up with pretty good one-liners. Remember once, one of the guys he worked with says, "Hey, Raleigh, I drove by your house last night." He says, "That's good." Didn't stop. My earliest memories, well, I've got most of the earliest memories on that biographical sketch there. Did you get to that part in the reading there about where we lived at Browns Point? Well, one of my earliest memories was Halloween. We lived in a little house at that time right next to the bigger house, and we were all telling each other's ghost stories and things like that. I was just a little guy, probably around 4 or 5, something like that. All of a sudden we heard this rattling on the window pane of the door. I looked up and I saw this Chinaman looking in there. Well, I was scared stiff. Probably just some kid, some guy with a Chinese mask. Could have been one of my brothers, I don't know. That's one of my first memories. Another memory I had was when Tony and I were in the basement of a house that was being constructed, and they had the basement was all completed, and there was flooring put on the first floor and studs and things put up the walls. That's about all there was there. We were down in the basement part of it, and there hadn't been any concrete poured in the basement floor yet. It was just still dirt. We were down there and just looking around, and Tony decided he had to go to the bathroom. We didn't have any place to go, so we went over to a corner and dug a little hole in the dirt so he could dump in there. And right about then, was getting ready to wipe his butt, and the people who owned the property, they were looking over the site to see how their construction was coming. So we had to skinny over to the shaded side so they couldn't see us. Then they went around the stairwell opening and to look at the other side. We saw them moving, so we had to scurry around to the other side. I don't remember how we got out of that mess, but we did. A lot of the men. One time I remember taking some of Dad's tools. He'd get mad at us for using his tools. So whenever I wanted to use one of his tools, I stopped it. I would just study it real close to make sure I knew exactly the position it was in before I wanted to use it, so I could put it back. Well, after I did that, he never did get on me for using his tools again. But I don't remember this, but my mother told me that I fell off the dock at Browns Point, and my britches got caught on a big spike that was sticking out of the side. I was hanging upside down, yelling bloody murder. And old man Brown, the lighthouse keeper, he heard me, and he was practically deaf, stone deaf. And he came down the dock and looked around, and finally he spotted me hanging over the side. He fished me up with a gaff hook and took me up to Mom. By that time, my face had gone through several stages of color, from red to blue to black or something like that. I don't know how long I was hanging upside down, but I've never been the same since. I think it was Dan and Dick and Joe. They wanted to go out in the rowboat, and so they started down to the dock, and our cat was bounding along with them, and I was trying to keep up with him, but I was just a little guy. They got down there first and got in the boat and started rowing off, and I was yelling there for them to come back and get me, and they said, no, I should go on back up to the house. And they rowed in to the end of the dock, and they put the cat, they had jumped in the boat with him, put the cat on a clam bag that was hanging over the side, and they said to me to pull the cat up and take it back up to the house. And then they took off, and I pulled the cat up, just getting ready to reach down and get the cat off of the clam bag, and the dang rope slipped out of my hand, started plummeting right down to the bottom. I got to the end of the rope, that clam bag stopped, but the cat didn't. It went right in the water. You know, that cat swam all the way into the beach. Must have been 20, 30 feet, something like that. And I was amazed, because I didn't think cats could swim. Then when Don got the poor cat, and I dried it off with my shirt tail, poor kitty. Cats can't swim. But our cat swam in from the end of the dock. Oh, we must have some cat. This kept going through my mind, and that can't be. I'll not put this to the test. So I went out the end of the dock and I tossed it in again. By golly, it swam in again. Well, this is really something. And I brought the cat up again. I hollered to my brothers, hey, our cat can swim. They said, no, it can't. Cats can't swim. Yes, it can. No, it can't. Yes, it can. Watch this. Heave-ho. Threw it in the drink again. And you know that cat darn near made it 3 times? Well, everyone got mad at me. Said that was the awful cruel thing to do. but really, I wasn't trying to be cruel or anything. I was just kind of a scientific experiment, you might say. I was at that inquisitive age where I had to know answers to everything. Well, that was the end of that. Turned off now. When your dad tried to jump off the porch roof with an umbrella, and I think that the umbrella just collapsed and hit the ground pretty hard. Now there's something else to that story too, about balloons or something. Filled up all these balloons, hoping the balloons would carry their weight. That didn't work either. Hit the ground pretty hard. I remember there at Browns Point, Father Mertens sometimes get a ride with Mom from church, go from one church to another. Well, he stopped by our house, or when Mom came home from church, had him with her, and my dad had been making some home brew, and they popped in, and he was right in the middle of sampling one, I guess. He had the bottle of home brew behind his back, and Father Mertens held out his hand to shake hands with him. Well, he had the home brew in his right hand, so he pulled it out and said, "Oh, heck, just have a drink." I think that Father Mertens did have a drink with him. Of course, he was an old German priest, and back in Germany they thrive on beer, so that was quite an experiment. It wasn't until later that after Dan died that Father Mertens baptized Dad, and a lot of stories about Father Mertens. I know one time when Aunt Flossie brought some of her pet chihuahuas over to the house, we took one of them up into our tree house. Well, we'd already experimented with cats. You know how cats can always land on their feet, if they toss them in the air. Well, we tossed them off our tree house, and they'd always land right on their feet. We found out that dogs can do that too. Not nearly as successful though as cats. I think one of them got a broken leg or something like that. Anyway, Aunt Flossie was really ticked off. I don't think she ever brought her dogs over to our house after that. Oh, she had some pretty prize ones. Well, here we are at the ferry lane right now. Okay. Now this is the new ferry slip from, I don't know when they put it in, but the old one has had pilings that are about as high as that metal structure is now. The ferry used to come in and it'd bounce off of these pilings that would guide it into the ferry slip there, and they put the apron down and they'd direct the cars off. And foot passengers would come off too. And we'd get in Dad's old puddle jumper. It was a old car that he had converted into a tractor, cart tractor, and we would take that down to the Tahlequah on the Vashon side, and park it there and go across, and then get a ride into town with one of the guys that would take us to into where Dad worked, and then I'd take the bus up to school, and then afterwards I'd meet Dad, and we'd get a ride these guys back to the ferry landing, go across and take the puddle jumper back on home. But sometimes we were in our 1934 Chevrolet. It was built in 1933 at the Chicago World's Fair. It had a plaque on the dashboard that said, "Built at the Century of Progress World's Fair, 1933, Chicago, Illinois." Anyway, we're driving that home one night, and the lights went out. We couldn't get the lights working, so we had to kind of sneak home in the dark. We got off the ferry okay, and got around the first curve, and there was a road going down the hillside to some houses, and the other road went to the right. There's a big rock there, and I couldn't see it, and I took the middle road. That was where that big rock was. We climbed up on that rock, and it was sitting there. We couldn't go forward or backwards, so we had to get out and walk home, about 7 miles or so. Well, we were tired when we got home. I think it was about 1942 or 43 when we moved over to Vashon Island. We had all our household goods in a moving van, and the moving van got onto the ferry, but when they got to the other side, I don't know what caused it, but the ferry boat pulled away from the slip just a little bit, and as the moving truck was going off the ferry, and it jackknifed. Well, they had to call for a wrecker from up in Vashon. I think they had a couple of wreckers they needed to get that moving truck off of the ferry. The ferry missed several runs that day. We had all our household goods in there, so that was quite an experience. Okay, go ahead. To where we lived, we have to go through Stockton, and we get to Center. Center was I guess about the midpoint on the island. That's where we lived. The house that we moved into, the piece of property, was owned by a Japanese family that before World War II, and then the government took all these Japanese and put them in internment camps, and I don't know how the dickens we managed to get the property. I know it was arranged through Tony Hull at the NB Banknote Company, and got I don't even know how much we paid for the property, around $6,000 or something. Whether we paid the government or who, but there was a huge currant garden or patch, and remember we had to hire a crew of migrant workers to come in and clean up the harvest on the currants. We sent them to a cannery, and we had loganberries and boysenberries on the property. This Japanese family had a kind of a sauna or a hot tub or something in a extension on the back of the house, and they would fill it up with water, and underneath they had a firebox. They would heat the water with this stove or furnace underneath. That's where they would take their baths. But that was taken out though, I guess, and I know it's not there now. But we'll get a chance to look at some of that. We went to a little church over in Docton, which is on what they call Maury Island. It's not really an island, it's kind of a peninsula. And it was, the pastor was a priest from Bellarmine High School. He'd come over once a week for Mass. I think his name was Father Harrington. A lot of good beaches here for clam digging all around this area. I can't think of anything right now. I don't want to influence my nephew making a kind of a trip, you know, where we used to live all the different places, and
well, we're just about to leave to catch the ferry, and then the other thing that
An interior staircase before?
yeah, well, it went up this way and then up.
Ah, sure, okay.
But we had I think the fireplace was in here someplace.
Ah, that makes sense, because when they had the house inspected, they said there was some sort of concrete fireplace setting down here somewhere.
Yeah, and this has all been renovated here. The kitchen was right here.
Oh, okay.
And we would look out the kitchen window to the back end.
Uh-huh.
There was a huge currant patch back there where all that overgrowth is there.
Oh my.
And part of that property we had
Oh, really? Wow.
there was a barn sitting down there.
In that bramble that's there now?
Yeah, right down there where the grass starts.
Uh-huh.
there's a little building right there. There's still an outbuilding there of some kind, and
Yeah, there was a barn down there. And over on this side we had loganberries and boysenberries.
I think there are still some brambles left out there. I was noticing, we just moved in October, so so we're still drying stuff out from the flood.
Yeah, right out here they had a kind of a sauna or bath out there, and in a separate house, and they heated the tub underneath with water.
garnets out on the deck.
Okay.
And all these big picture windows were not in here at the time.
Oh, yeah, I knew. Well, that's interesting. This house must have just gone through so many changes since.
It certainly has. Right.
When did you live here?
1942, 43 until we lived here about 3 years.
Oh.
Yeah, before we put this floor in, we had taken out the carpet and we noticed the old linoleum in here.
Yeah.
And I thought, that must have been a kitchen or something like that.
Yes, it was a kitchen, yeah. Right.
Yeah, there's some concrete foundations or something underneath the blackberries there. We haven't really figured out just what it is.
How extensive is your property now, your property line?
It's basically this, there's a little gravel road just on the other side, so it goes down somewhere through the bushes down.
Yeah, surveyed here.
And then you see the tall grass, and then it's back cut again. So the far edge of the tall grass right there.
So it's just under an acre now.
Yeah, and then it goes over that way and includes a little orchard of trees, and then comes back up. But then there's a rectangular piece right next door that doesn't belong to us, so the property's L-shaped. It goes straight and then it goes like that. I guess, I mean, originally it was this house and it owned this whole section along.
How many acres was it? 7?
Oh,
14?
No, I don't think it was that big.
Well, it looks like it might have, I'm guessing, but I wouldn't be surprised if originally, like back in 1908 or 1909, this whole 48-acre chunk might have belonged to here, and then it got
Yeah, well, that road wasn't in there, and that was part of our property there. And that's where we had our cornfield, I know. But, well, I certainly appreciate you giving us a chance to take a look at this. And if you don't mind, we'd like to go around the building.
Sure, go on outside. Yeah.
And see how it looks from the other.
Were the apple trees there?
Possibly. I don't recall. No. But I know that we had our berry bushes were along there.
Yeah, they're all gone now.
Well, I see you got a good crop of rhubarb.
Yeah, there's a bunch of it around, and there's a bunch of volunteer rhubarb, and then there's a lot of, yeah, you can kind of cut through there. And then there's a lot of raspberries or something down by this other outbuilding in the tall grass.
Which, down here you mean?
Yeah, down in there.
William, this is where your mother lived while your dad was going to school in Seattle during the war. And Mom and Dad had used this room up here. They rented it out to a Spanish or Mexican couple that, well, he was stationed up here someplace. She couldn't speak English, and sometimes instead of using the bathroom, they would use a corner of the room. Kind of strange people, but her name was Guadalupe, I suppose, and we couldn't communicate with her very well, and her husband was just a private or something like that. So, over on this side here, there was a sauna that the Japanese people had built.
Okay.
I guess it was right about here that they had the porch coming out here, and they had a sauna or a bath or something that they would take their baths in, and they'd heat it with a fire underneath, and that's been taken down. A lot of things have been changed.
I don't think Beacon will bother you. She'll just, sorry.
All right.
I'm out of battery.
Uh-oh. And over in this area is the old currant patch. And when we moved here, they was about ready to harvest, and we had to hire a group of migrant workers to come in and harvest the currants we sent off to the cannery. And they would take huge sheets and put underneath the bushes, and then shake hell out of them, and they'd all drop down on the sheets, and then they'd dump them into containers and haul them off. I sure did that in a hurry.
Go.
Yeah, this is the house we lived in on Vashon Island. We moved in about 1942 or 43, somewhere around in there. And your mom used to live with us while your dad was going to direction finding school in in Lake Union in Seattle. And she didn't care living here. Didn't like it very much at all. Like, we're standing on a spot here where the old barn used to be. And there used to be the current field is over in that side there. And I don't remember these fruit trees. They were probably little saplings when we were living here. It's been a long time. The people who live here now are named Swan, and they moved in last October. There have been a lot of changes here. The place has changed hands so many times. They took out a fireplace that they had in there before, and changed the stair casing going upstairs. So a lot of changes have taken place. We had over on this side where loganberries and boysenberries. They had loganberries and boysenberries over on that side. And remember, up towards the road, up this way, we had a cornfield. I remember one day when, one Sunday morning, we were getting ready to go to church. And we were all in our church clothes and everything. And one of the kids says, "Hey, Dad, the cow's out. He's in our cornfield." So he went out, he started picking up rocks and heaving at the cow. "Get out of there, you swore I wish it wasn't Sunday. I'd really tell you what I think of you."
Okay.
This is the old feed store here. We used to come to get our feed for the cows. And this isn't the middle of town yet, but they might have been changed somewhat. This is new. Vashon now, and see if the movie theater is still standing.
So it'll be on the left or right?
It'll be on the left side, and I think this is right up here. Yeah, here's the theater. It's still here. Yeah. I really don't remember if the front of it was this same way or whether it's changed, but I know that same old building though. Everything else around here looks pretty new. Well, there's an old church there.
Start over again.
My mother's cousin, Ben Burris, and his strident wife and their kids, they heard that we lived out here now, and they moved from Kansas out here and bought a place on the other side of the road from us up a little bit. They were always fighting all the time. You could hear them blocks away. Ben Burris was a boxer when he was younger, and there was some kind of story about him. Left one of his opponents in the ring. He walked out, the guy died, and then I think maybe he after we lost track of them. think that he was picked up for child molestation or incest or something, and he spent some time in prison. And my brother Dave said that he looked up one of the kids and said that old Ben Burris was still alive back. That was probably 10 years ago. I don't know where they were living then. I guess they were back in Kansas or something then.
Okay.
Well, Dad had a converted pickup truck that he made into a tractor, and so during the war we were able to get extra gas rationing coupons. We'd drive that puddle jumper down to the ferry landing, park it there, and go across as foot passengers, and then get a ride with a guy into town, and then on the return trip he'd pick us up and take us down to the ferry landing. We'd go across and come home in the puddle jumper. One day when we had our own car over there, coming across the ferry, our headlights went out. So we had to kind of try to sneak home in the dark, and I was driving. And we got to the first road that around the corner from Tahlequah. There was a road going down to some houses, and the other road turned to the right to go on up to Vashon, and I took the middle road, and there was a big rock there. Climbed the car right up on it. We couldn't back up, couldn't go forward, so we were just stuck. We had to get out and walk 7 miles home. We got tired by the time we got home.
Okay.
Well, my dad was born in Moline, Kansas. My grandma and my grandpa had come from someplace in Pennsylvania, and land of the Pennsylvania Dutch, they called it. But they lived in Moline, and there are a lot of court records and stuff from around that area that have to do with the Gilman lineage. And my grandpa died, and my dad's had a younger brother that died also. And my grandma and my dad came out west, came to Olympia. They came by train, and I remember my dad telling me that they stopped at some town along the way that had Indians. He thought he'd see some Wild West Indians, real savage warriors or something, but they were just old Indians who were sitting around on the sidewalks and didn't have much gumption or anything. But they came out here to Olympia first of all, and then got up here to Tacoma. I don't know all the different places where they lived, except that my grandma lived on Alaska Street, and my mom and dad had a house that was right close to them, I guess, and that's where Bill was born. I think Bill and Dan were both born in that house. And later on, that part of Alaska Street was bulldozed away, and it's now I-5, although Alaska Street goes clear down to Center Street, where it crosses Center Street. They used to do their shopping at a grocery store called Horn Holmes grocery store. And my dad belonged to a group of kids, I guess it was the equivalent of a gang nowadays, called the Center Street Kids. And sometimes they'd go out on Halloween and turnover outhouses and things. My dad said that one time one of his friends fell in after they had turned over an outhouse. And clear up to his neck. Anyway, he had to get home. They had to sneak home through the back alleys. And his mother wouldn't let him in the house. And about, in October, it's getting kind of chilly. She had filled up a galvanized tub full of water out in the backyard. He had to strip down there and take a bath before he was allowed to come into the house. I think they had to change the water several times. You know that Bill Burroughs ran one of the presses at work. They've known each other for a long time. As a matter of fact, I think Bill was named after Bill Burroughs, Wilfred Burroughs, and so Dad named your dad David Wilfred, and we called him Bill, and still goes by Bill as far as I'm concerned. But on all this correspondence he's got DW. But Bill Burroughs was he was quite a jokester, and he had a daughter and a couple of twin sons. I don't remember too much about all them, but Bill used to play tricks on me when I was working there after school. I remember once he sent me out for a paper stretcher that they had lent to Johnson Cox Printing. I went over there and they said, "Oh, well, we just sent it down to Damier Printing." So I had to hop the bus and go down to Damier Printing. And they said, "Well, we sent it back to your shop. It's probably down there by now." So I went back and went up the back elevator. And just as I walked in, everyone turned around and started laughing at me. And what's so funny? Oh, I couldn't find out. There's no such thing as a paper stretcher. Like a left-handed monkey wrench. My brother Dick says in the Army, the sergeant had sent him out for chevron polish once. Same kind of deal. This house where Bill and Mary lived right after they were married. The first house they lived in together, to my knowledge anyway. And I had visited here a couple times. I don't remember too much about the inside of the house or any of the grounds, but I remember this is where they lived. I took the bus up from downtown, and I had to get off at Jeanette and walk a block over to this house.
Brown?
Yeah.
Yes. I know that.
He was deaf?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, well, anyway, long time ago, I fell off the end of the dock, and I caught my britches on a big spike.
Yeah.
And I was hanging upside down for I don't know how long, and I was screaming bloody murder, and he heard me, and he was deaf.
Yeah, he heard you, and he was deaf. I heard the little.
He reached down with a gaff hook.
Oh, I see.
And pulled me up, and took me up to the house. And it was a strange thing. I've never been the same since.
Oh, come on. Well, I tell you, there are changes. But
Do you remember where the volunteer fire department was by the ballpark?
Yes. No, not by the ballpark. It's on Takaloo here. Let me see. There's an empty lot there now, by golly. It's right across from Dr. Oh, what is his name now, Dr. Well, he died, and she died, and the son lives there now. Oh, shit, I can't think of
Yeah. My dad belonged to the volunteer fire department, and he played on their baseball team.
Oh, yeah.
You remember the baseball team that they had?
No,
You don't?
I
Okay.
wasn't much of a ball player.
There used to be a grocery store right down here?
No, it's around the corner.
Right around the corner,
Yeah.
yeah.
And there were Danish people that had it.
Yeah. And I remember going down to the store with my mother,
Yeah.
and she let my hair grow down into long curls.
Yeah.
And the man at the grocery store says, "Are you a little boy or a little girl?" And I had long hair, so I don't know. I guess I'm a girl.
Yeah, you never know.
Well, this is brings back a lot of memories.
How long since you've been on the point?
Oh, we moved away in 1930.
I came in 30. Well, did you know the Hammerbecks? They lived on this property. It
Yeah.
was their summer home.
I was just 4 years old.
Yeah, and then next door was Phoebe and Elmer Johnson.
Mhm.
And Elmer Johnson and another guy that lived on the beach there were in charge of our water department for many, many years.
Did you know Jerry Darling?
Darling.
On the other side over there.
No, he must have lived on Pakaloo,
Yeah.
next to what used to be our library.
Yeah. He lived up from Jerry Meeker's property, up a ways. Did you know of Burroughs?
Oh, yes. They lived, she was in charge of the water. We paid our water over there, Dorothy.
Uh-huh.
And their daughter married Storkman.
Uh-huh.
She's Mrs. Storkman now.
Yeah.
I think they live at Gig Harbor.
Uh-huh. Was there a Bill Burroughs?
Yes.
Bill, yeah.
And he worked for the Coca-Cola company.
Bill?
Yes, until he retired. And then he went around and sold eggs. He knew someone.
Well, there was another Bill Burroughs then.
Maybe it was two.
A different, well, that my dad worked with.
Oh.
He worked at the North Pacific Banknote Company on 8th
No.
and Pacific in Tacoma.
No, that can't be the same as Anton.
No.
No. Mr. Borer, his wife was Dorothy. And we paid our water to her all the time.
Well,
Elmer Hecker, that was the other guy. Elmer Johnson and Hecker, they were in charge of the water department
okay.
for many,
So
many
you
years.
must be over 70 years old.
90 next birthday.
90. You've been kicking around a while, haven't you?
Comes to my next birthday, yes. Yes, I seen them come and go. There was nothing but bushes here.
Right.
And that house was not here. Taylors were not here. And no, that was the last house that was built.
Well, it's been good talking to you.
Yeah.
He's taking a video picture here of us having a
Oh,
conversation.
for heaven's sakes.
This is we're trying to put together some kind of a video recollection of where we've lived and
Yeah.
over the years. And,
Yeah, that's what my son-in-law is doing now.
well, that's good.
Yeah. Oh, he's gone back many, many years.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I appreciate taking your time.
No, I wasn't doing anything. I've been pulling weeds here. I've been.
You can
I
still do that.
Oh heavens, yeah, I take care of everything.
Ah,
But I never seen weeds like this here. Good heavens, it isn't weeds; it's hay in the back. Yeah.
well, it's good talking to you. Can I give you a hug?
Oh, you sure can. My goodness gracious, old timers on the point.
Well,
Yes, I should
well,
say.
you got about 20 years over me. Well,
Yeah.
16 years over me anyway.
Well, I tell you, after you pass so many years, oh boy, oh boy.
It's all going downhill. We reached
No.
the top and gone down.
No, my dad said, don't stop. Press on, press on.
There you go.
And that's
Yeah.
what I done. That's what I done.
Well, I hope you live many years more.
Oh, sure. We are long-lived people in our family. On both sides, both my father's side and my mother's side.
Mm-hmm.
My grandfather was almost 99.
Mm-hmm.
I was home on my mother's 90th birthday.
Mm.
And she passed away the next year. She was just past the 91.
Mm-hmm.
At the moment.
Well, the children were Bill, Dan, Dick, Joe, and then me.
My God, you really remember names.
Well, those are my
yes,
brothers.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
And then there was another brother after me, who was just a baby in arms when we moved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just
and yeah, we. I don't know when the folks moved out here first, but I know that we moved out towards Summit View in the Puyallup area, and bought a farm out there.
Yeah, I should say. Many a wind has blown since then.
Right, I'll say.
And you can't remember Phoebe and El. No, you were only 4.
No.
Yeah, they were old timers. That house is old, but they have kept it up. That next to me here.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, them days they built houses that lasted.
They did, right.
The way they built them today, slam them up and they fall down in 10 years.
Cracker boxes.
Well, this house was built in 52. It was my aunt's summer home, the Hammerbecks, Marie and Sam Hammerbeck. And we tore down their old house and built this one in 52.
But he wanted to get some excitement, I guess. And one day in Manila, in a bar, he and some of his buddies were in there, and the way I understand it, I might be a little wrong on this, I'm not sure. There were some Marines in there, and the Marines and the Navy didn't often see things eye to eye, and they got into a scuffle that turned into a brawl and into a riot, and they started busting up furniture and stuff. And the police were called, Manila police. And I guess your dad had quite a bit to drink. They were fighting with the police too. Well, there was a plainclothes officer from the Manila police force that was there. He picked up a chair and hit this guy over the head with a chair, busted over his head. Next thing he knew, he was waylaid from behind by someone. He woke up in jail, and then it was turned over to the shore patrol, or to the ship captain or something. So he was court-martialed, and he spent some time in California at the Mare Island Naval facility there. I think they call it a prison now, but I don't know if it was a prison then. But he spent some time there, and he got a dishonorable discharge. But he had that changed when he went back into the service. They changed it to other than dishonorable. So that's how he got back into the Navy, and he did real good for himself after that. But he was quite a heller in his time. I remember I was with the Holy Cross Brothers on my first vacation, and I came home, walked in the door, and my dad says, "What the heck's that get-up you got on there?" And Mom says, "Oh, Dad, be quiet. That's his religious garb." And he says, "Well, take off your garbage and make yourself at home. But he lived here. They lived here until after Mom died, and then Jim and Rita moved in, and I moved in after I got out of the brothers. I moved in. Byron was still home, and Mary. And Jim and Rita moved out then, and they went to Yelm. And I was there with Dad for a while. And Dad got on the road, and he started visiting wherever the kids lived. He'd stay at 2-3 months one place and move on to another. And finally, he wanted to sell the house, get out from under it. And Rose and I got a house over on Harrison Street, on the other side of McKinley Avenue. That's where we lived.
Okay.
Yeah, we were living in this house when Tony was killed in an accident in Globe, Arizona. She had no way of getting down there to where he was in the hospital. So she called up the parish priest, and the parish priest says, "Don't worry, I'll take care of it." So he got her a plane ticket, round trip, and it was pretty tough at that time because we were going through some financial difficulties. Anyway, we lived here for, I guess, about a year or two before moving farther into town on 34th Street. Rectory of St. John of the Woods Church. Father Mertens lived upstairs there where that white cross is on the railing there. And my dad helped put the flooring in, the hardwood flooring in the church, and installing the sawdust burning furnace in the bottom, in the basement. The old church was over to the right, and it's been torn down, and the new church is over on the left side of the rectory now. I'm going to take a right here, and Mrs. Geisler moved in with Mrs. Hartman, this old German lady, and we used to call her Grandma Hartman. And she lived in a little house along in here someplace. Right about in here, imagine. But this structure is different now than the one she lived in. And that was while our new house was being constructed after the old one burned down on Garden Valley Road. And around the corner is on the left a school, the Central Avenue School, where I went the first grade, and on the right is this Central Avenue School, and it's the same building that was standing when I went to school there. And the house where we lived was that white one up on the hill there. And I think we missed it here. Well, Mrs. Geisler's house was up in here, and it seemed like we came in the other direction though. Wait a minute. This place has been added on to.
They have all these porches and stuff.
And anyway, we lived there for over a year, and didn't cost us a cent in rent or anything. And so we were pretty grateful that we had a place to live, a roof over our heads, right over in there. Put in that high power line. I'll bet that's why it's not there now. Okay, now we're going to go down. Let's see this. What it used to be called. Oh my goodness, that's a dead end now too. This used to be the Bingham Road, and it used to go clear through to 112th, and now it's a dead end, so I'm going to have to make a little detour, but that's okay. There used to be a O'Farrell's grocery and feed store, or gas station, a fuel like Shell or Arco or something like that. They called it Gilman gas. And down this road is where my brother Tony was hit by a car the second time, and he had a concussion and taken to the hospital. And we're going up here to Garden Valley Road now. I'm going to make a right turn up here. They give it a number now. I forget what the number is. Used to be the Garden Valley Road. Down the road, there were a couple of places where they had fox and mink farms. And my mom used to work at Creek's fox farm. They would pelt and clean the furs, and good way to earn some extra money. Right here is the old guy that used to live here was blind, and he had lines strung all over the property so he could get from the barn and so forth. And down here was a family called the Minchows. Hugo Minchow is still alive, and he lives in Olympia. I talked to him on the phone. He and your dad they knew each other pretty well. This area over here used to be Creek's Fox Farm. And we're getting up now to the property where we used to live. Let's see, this was okay, here we are. Right down here, my dad had bought 20 acres, and I'm going to ask this lady if it's okay if we look around.
Come over and look.
LCD. Oh, that thing is so cool. I've been looking at those. Mine's a relic. Isn't that great?
Okay, yeah, this is the house that Dad built. And at one time we had a house down below, and we lived in that until 1938, and then it burned down, and it took about a year and a half or so.
Say that again, because it didn't catch.
Didn't get it?
The car.
Traffic.
Oh, okay. It took about a year and a half, I guess, to get it all constructed. And my dad bought 20 acres out here for $100 an acre, and it stretched halfway between this road and what's the next one called? That goes down to Summit View.
Canyon?
Canyon, yeah, halfway between here and Canyon. Sits back there. And we had barns along down that way. There's a swamp down below there, and I know my brother Bill, that's your dad, and he would sit on the roof of the barn and take pot shots at a bear they saw down there one year. And oh, I remember right over here, this fir tree was a lot younger then, and at one time there was a little bench put in there that's gone now, but the tree has grown together, it seems like, and probably forced it out. I remember one time when the kids were home, we were upstairs, and we didn't have the partitions all finished up there, and we were jumping on the bed, and one of the feet of the bed went over the side, jumped that 2x4, and put a big hole in the plasterboard in the ceiling. Boy, I sure got it. But it's really looks nice. We didn't have a fireplace then. That was put in afterwards.
You're more than welcome to come in.
Well, I imagine it's all changed. Had a ditch going through there and a bridge going across. We had ducks out there.
Did you have this porch?
No, this porch wasn't there then. That was added on to, and we had a smaller porch, but it wasn't the same.
So how long did you live in this house?
Let's see, until 1942 or 3, and then we moved over to Vashon Island.
Wow.
So,
Wow. Well, you're more than welcome to come in and take a peek.
okay, I'd like to do that. By the way, my name's Leo Gilman.
Leo Gilman, I'm Ann Crumbaker.
And I'm Bill Gilman.
Hi, Bill Gilman. Anyway,
Oh, I see you have a Madonna out there.
I do indeed. I do indeed. Anyway, the birds are everywhere. This is the third set of sparrows that are nesting up there right now, and then chickadees are nesting right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had a pheasant here the other day. It actually came up on my leg. I got it on video, seriously.
Oh, wow.
I know. And then just all kinds of birds. And I knew nothing about birds. In fact, I knew nothing about yard work till I moved in. But anyway, so.
The kitchen was over here,
Oh my gosh.
and the steps came down from here.
Unbelievable.
They really
Unbelievable.
done a lot of remodeling.
Yeah, it's just a darling little house. It really is.
Yes, it is.
And it's just perfect. My husband died of cancer 5 years ago, and I lived in the Seattle area, and of course housing was so prohibitive then for what I wanted. So I found this, and I said, an angel found this place for me. I absolutely love it. I'll show you my favorite room. And then this is the living room. I call it my big entryway, because that's exactly what it is when you come in the front door. But this is my favorite room back here. This is the room I sit in and I play Celtic music and just look out the window and absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. I think it's totally awesome.
Great.
It really is. I love this place. I don't think I've ever lived in a house I love more. And that's the truth.
See, they put in a beam there, and that probably is on an add-on.
Yeah, they had some water problems down below in the cellar. Seems to.
It's not.
Anyway, but so I absolutely love it, and it's just so neat to meet someone that your dad built it.
My dad would say
There's someone upstairs sleeping.
he would. Did
Did you hear what I said?
Yes.
I don't care though. It's just a young girl. She won't care.
He'd get up early in the morning, and he'd start the fire in the stove, in the wood stove, cook stove, and get it kind of warmed up in here, and he'd have to walk up to the end of the road to catch the Woodland bus into town.
Wow.
So he had to wake us kids up and he'd open the door and he'd say, "Get up, time to get up." And someone would yell, "We're coming." He says, "I'm going."
Oh, he sounds like a great guy.
Oh, he was a great guy, all right.
Aw.
Hey, he got a lot of help from the parishioners up at St. John of the Woods Church. The old priest there, Father Mertens, made his whole sermon one Sunday on, "Let's go down and help Mr. Gilman put a roof on his new house."
You're kidding.
So
That's awesome. That is so totally nice. So totally nice.
well, anyway, yeah, this brings back a lot of memories.
Where do you live now? Vashon?
No. I live right outside of Gilman, Rainier,
Oh, okay.
and my nephew lives in West Olympia.
So, and you guys are just out today making a video?
Right.
You're the guy from McLendon. Is it on already?
Yep, just
Okay,
look
so
right there.
Oh, isn't this neat? Now this helps me because I'm thinking of buying one of these. Terrific, terrific.
yeah, William and I are looking over the place where we used to live. That garage wasn't there. We had a barn way down there a little bit, and this concrete slab has been put in since we've been there, and a lot of additions and things to the house. But basically, it's the same house, one that Dad built.
Well, I'm extremely grateful to your dad for building this place because I've never been happier anywhere than I am in this house. I always said an angel found this house for me. All right.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I'm not absolutely sure, but I think this is the house on Bingham Road that we called Weed's Place. And over to my right, you can see where trees have been cut down. Used to be a log cabin over there. It's been taken down. There's a building, new building put up there, sitting back a ways. But we lived here while Dad was building our first house down on the Garden Valley Road. I think that was for a period of about two years, something like that. My first day in the first grade was at the Collins School way at the end of this road. I lasted one day. They said I was in the wrong district. Then they sent me over to the other school, Central Avenue School. Oh, we're coming up close to Franklin Pierce High School, where I spent 24 years teaching before I retired in 1982. That's up here at where Portland Avenue and 112th meet. That's the next stoplight up. Turned off. This is Franklin Pierce High School, and I see that they got all the gates and everything closed.
Yeah, speak up a little louder.
This is Franklin Pierce High School, where I spent 24 years teaching. My building was the first one down here on the left, and I used to sell tickets at the basketball games and the football games and the wrestling matches, and earn a little extra cash. It was a good experience.